This is Career Force Minnesota, Explore Careers. Today we're focusing on the agriculture industry. It's Tuesday, June 29th, 2021, and I'm so glad to have all of you here. In this series, we explore all of the range of job opportunities there are within different fields. And I know I've been surprised by the complexity and the variety of positions in all of the conversations that we have had. Today, and along with last week, we've been focusing on the natural resources super sector. You might say, oh my gosh, what's a super sector? Well, when the Bureau of Labor Statistics classifies jobs, they have put together the natural resources and the mining industries together into what they call one large super sector. From there, they have the agricultural, forestry, fishing, and hunting sector, and then they separate out the mining, quarrying, oil, and gas extraction sector. And from there, we can even delve into the subsections of all of these, which are crop production, forestry, logging, animal production, fishing, hunting, trapping, and all of the other support services for those industries. So there really is a lot of complexity when we think about this. But really, to even take the complexity home even further, we know that this plays a large role in Minnesota's economy in all different facets. And one doesn't have to be living in the Northeast or the Northwest or the corner of Minnesota to work in this industry, that all of these jobs permeate our lives, even here in the Twin Cities. And we have, like, even with Cargill in CHS, some of the largest independently owned businesses within the agricultural industry. So today, to get us started, we're going to be talking to the Minnesota State Agricultural Centers of Excellence, two people from Minnesota State, who's going to give us a big overview. Then we're going to go into a couple of the different companies: Crystal Valley Egg Co-op, Barrick Family Farms in Northwest Minnesota, and Christensen Farms in the southern region, along with Crystal Valley, also in the southern region of the state, to get a sense of all of the possibilities. And they're going to be telling us stories even about people that have transferred from different positions into their companies, different industries even. So we've got some stories ahead of us. So first, I'd like to welcome both Brad Schlosser and Judy Barca of the Minnesota State Agricultural Centers for Excellence. Welcome to both of you.
Thanks, Liz.
Thank you, Liz. Appreciate the opportunity. Brad Schlosser here, calling in from southern Minnesota, and I'm on the Mankato campus of South Central College here this afternoon.
And I'm Judy Barca. I'm in the Northern Center of Agricultural Excellence. Staples is my home base. You can go on to the next slide, please.
We're going to team up and share from our experiences what we do centered on agriculture, which is an excellent avenue in which for anyone to be either an entrepreneur or to be employed. Featured on the screen, you will note that the agricultural careers are broken out into 8 different pathways. And Judy, maybe you can identify some new ways in which we're communicating this just in the very recent past.
Right, we can do that. And one of the things I want to stress is that when we talk about agriculture careers, we often use the term AFNR, agriculture, food, natural resources. We look at it from that very broad perspective. And when Liz showed that picture of the super sector and talked about the related opportunities in there, that's part of what we focus on. We include a lot of those related areas, especially in the different pathways. These are the 8 pathways that we have laid out, or that have been laid out across the nation in agriculture, plant systems, environmental systems, a whole variety of them. You can also find this brochure on the websites, our websites, and we have had it translated. into a variety of different languages, and we continue to know that it needs to be translated into other languages as well. Let's go on to the next slide, Brett. Liz, sorry.
Thanks, Liz, for adding in the chat the two respective websites for our Southern and Northern Agricultural Centers of Excellence. We would really like to highlight what we are learning in terms of where are the agriculture, food, and natural resources jobs. You can see on the screen that by county, the Department of Employment and Economic Development does assist us with that. So we, in partnership with a number of our agricultural partners this past year, did complete an economic contribution study in Minnesota, and it focuses on ag and forestry. Really highlighted is in the Twin Cities metro area. You can see that Hennepin County is twice as much as any other county, but across the state, there are significant opportunities, whether that be in the animal systems pathway or plant systems or agribusiness systems. By county, we have this information. There are a significant number of jobs in ag and forestry in the state of Minnesota. And again, highlighting the fact that over 8% of all of the employment is in the Twin Cities metro area, but outstate there are significant opportunities as well. Just this past week, I was participating in a seminar up in northwestern Minnesota, and I was pleased to recognize that up in Northwest in the Thief River Falls area, we're talking thousands of individuals that are dependent upon and contributing to agriculture. And no matter where a person is located in the state, oftentimes that does require an individual to be in person, in place, hands-on. However, there are, I think, a growing number of opportunities, and some of our partners that are employing individuals in ag, food, and natural resources can discuss more of that in terms of the virtual nature. But we've got significant opportunities in the entire state of Minnesota.
Cool. Next slide, please. We want to share this with you because this kind of gives you a picture of where the jobs are located by the different pathways. When you look at the power structure and technical systems pathway, that includes everything from the mechanics that fix some of the things. It can include the IT people that look at a variety of different things. It can look and it can include a variety of opportunities like that. And then the other piece to look at is ag business. Now we know that there is overlap in the jobs that are available from one pathway to the next pathway. And so when you look at power structure and technical, and you think about the IT people that might be working in there on fixing the equipment that gathers the data, then you look at in ag business, it might include people that are selling the equipment that collects the data. So there's overlap and there's a lot of things going on. The other piece that I really want to point out is that 74% of all the ag, food, and natural resource jobs are in agribusiness and science. And many of those, most of those are located not on the farm, but in, as we just showed you, a lot are located in a metro area. Next slide, please.
Judy, as we're transitioning, I want to highlight the reality. Oftentimes when people are asked the question, so where are people, or when you think about agriculture, what are we talking about? I mean, less than 2% of the population in the state of Minnesota or across the country are involved in farming, production agriculture, but there is a tremendous number of individuals that support those that are on the farm or support the food processing or the technical side of energy and feed and food and so on. So we just want to highlight that reality. We would also like to focus here on this particular slide that identifies the Minnesota State College and University System. We have 37 colleges and universities around the state. Of that 37, 27 of them do have programs specific for agriculture, food, or natural resources. And so within probably an hour of where any Minnesotan, any citizen is located, there are opportunities for upskilling, refining, adding to. I've always been a proponent of lifelong learning. And so just recognize we have tremendous opportunities there. Again, you can dig in deeper on these particular realities if visiting our respective websites. Next slide, please, Liz.
So this is there's two resources on here that we want to highlight. First of all, if you are looking to transition into something else and you're looking for some short-term training or some additional training, you're looking to maybe do some job growth, Skill Up is a website that's on the Minnesota State College and University system that can help you get connected with short-term training in a particular area. If you're a job seeker and you maybe want to change jobs or you're not really sure what you want to do, I would invite you to take a look at CareerWise, which again is part of the Minnesota State College and University systems. And on that site, there are career interest surveys where you can take a look at the things that interest you and how does that apply to a career. And you can actually do some searching on those sites for a variety of different career opportunities and then programs related to those career opportunities to help you get the education that you would need to get a job in that field. Next slide, please.
Judy, we're down to our last 50 seconds. Just
Okay.
want to highlight the realities here. Here's our two respective websites and the home pages that focus on career opportunities. Again, really focusing on those pathways, the various systems in agriculture. Too often people, when they think of agriculture, they're not thinking about the human resources needs or the technology opportunities to apply that in agriculture. And so we really focus in those areas and have connections to a tremendous number of employers, partners out there that would certainly welcome anyone with interest, somebody that would want to do a job shadow or to spend some time to really explore these opportunities. And so career research tools are very important and help prepare a person for success. Judy, you want to sum it up?
Yeah, I really want to encourage anyone. I think there's one more slide that has our contact information on it. But I really want to encourage you to reach out if we can be of assistance in connecting with you and helping to support the kind of job searches that you're doing, or if you just want more information in general about the opportunities in agriculture. Think broad. Think very, very broad. What's your interest area and will it fit into agriculture? You bet it will. Yeah, that's what I wanted to add. Brad, anything else?
Just a tremendously nourishing opportunity awaits, and we're really focusing on essential type opportunities here. And the team at the Northern Ag Center of Excellence and our Southern Ag Center of Excellence, we would be delighted to assist you in exploring or pursuing a career in agriculture, food, or natural resources. Liz, over to you. Thank you much.
Great, thank you. You know, one question that I have for you is, say a person's been working for 15 or 20 years in sales and they want to pivot now and maybe go into a sales-oriented job in one of the major egg companies. Is there a foundational just course, you know, like helping to understand agricultural issues that they should, you know, kind of look at?
Liz, I would identify that is a very appropriate question to ask. That's a wise approach. There are certainly, depending upon where that sales environment is located, there are, you know, as a vocabulary, there's some must-know realities, and each one of our Min-State institutions have faculty that are very experienced in that and are designed and really focusing on assisting people with success. So agricultural type orientation would be ideal, and sharing in a conversation about those specifics would be very appropriate.
So call the local Min-State office, wherever, you know, is closest to a person, and then just talk with an admissions person or talk to someone in one of the departments. Is that what you're saying?
One of the departments, or specifically call the Northern Ag Center of Excellence or Southern Ag Center of Excellence. We have individuals that are really prepared with outreach information and the go-to individuals in a respective area. So we can certainly help to be most efficient in those types of efforts.
Thank you. Good. Thank you, both of you. This is, yeah, it's really helpful to know that we have a source that we can go to for questions. Let's get to one of the companies. Val Johnson is here. with Christensen Farms. Welcome, Val.
Thanks so much, Liz, and thanks Judy and Brad for a great lead into agriculture and everything that's involved in agriculture. Nice work. My name is Val Johnson. I lead HR and administration for Christensen Farms, and today I'm located in Sleepy Eye, Minnesota. Next slide, please. Our company is located primarily at the headquarters is located in Sleepy Eye, Minnesota, but we have operations all across South Central Minnesota, as well as a variety of states, which I'll get into later on in this presentation. I put up our passion drives our purpose tagline because that's who we are at Christensen Farms. I also provide our mission and our values. I think it's really important to lead in with both of these because when you start with a new company, you need to see it and feel it when you enter the building and when you work with the people that you work with. So I won't read everything, but I think it is important because our mission is that we are committed to and take pride in being an industry leader in responsibly producing high quality pork for the noble purpose of providing food to a growing world. That's exactly what we do. Next slide, please. So some history about us. Back in 1974, our founder, Bob Christensen, who was 13 years old at the time, was gifted with 2 bred gilts. And for those who aren't knowledgeable about pig language, I sure wasn't either when I started, but 2 bred gilts are actually pregnant sows. These sows, the gilt name is really referring to the first time that they deliver a litter. And so these bred gilts were given to Bob and his brother, and they were due to deliver at any point in time. Well, Bob saw an opportunity to create a business out of that. He never went to college or pursued any other career. He was simply committed to being a pig farmer and making pig farming better. He worked for about 38 years in this business, and by the time Bob passed away unexpectedly in 2012, he had created new innovations in animal housing, genetics, nutrition, and a host of other areas in food agriculture. So he was creating great innovation. He was providing that to the bigger world, and people sought him out for his knowledge and his partnership. And like I said, he never went to college. He never pursued any other career. He was just passionate and interested in pork producing. So Christensen Farms has grown into one of the largest family-owned integrated pork producers. We have approximately 1,000 employees and 1,500 contract partners. Today, we currently operate 4 feed mills. We manage 145,000 sows on 44 farms, and we have about 300 packer and partner relationships. We market 3.5 million hogs per year, moving about 80,000 hogs a week. We have increased traceability so we can trace every pig that we market. We are all about quality assurance, and we are behind pricing stability for our company and certainly our customers. In 2006, we became the largest shareholder of Triumph Foods, which is a packing plant out of St. Joseph, Missouri. We also became an owner and shareholder of Seaboard Triumph Foods, which is another packing plant that was opened in 2018. To support our further pork processing with things like bacon and ham and other premium products, we also own 50% of Daly's Premium Meats. You will not necessarily find Daly's Premium Meats in all of your meat cases, but what you will see it in is primarily food service. We currently work with Starbucks, Denny's, Carl's Jr., and Dairy Queen, even from Minnesota. But you will find it also at Costco under the Kirkland packaging. But even better news, you'll find it beginning July 1st at Lenz and Byerly's in the bacon area section of the food store. Next slide, please. We have a dedicated team from a diverse locations and backgrounds and experiences. You don't have to have a career or a resume or a job history of having any kind of farming. We have employees today that come from the US, of course. We also have employees from Canada, Mexico, Chile, and Myanmar. Those employees are throughout a whole wide range of positions within our organization. But to highlight a few, we have career opportunities all over the map. We have positions starting in animal care. We have feed milling, transportation, maintenance and repair, agronomy, supply chain, and marketing. We offer a comprehensive benefits package for full-time employees, including health and dental coverage, 401k, short-term and long-term disability, flex spending plans, time off bank, and paid holidays. We also provide all of our employees, at least for the last 6 years that I've worked here, with about 50,000, or I'm sorry, 50,000, not 50,000, 50 pounds of pork at the end of the year that is wrapped beautifully and gifted to all of our employees. Next slide, please. We have a long history of achieving or helping employees achieve their career goals through personal and professional development. We have a variety of animal care positions across Minnesota and 4 other states. The pay starts at $15.60 per hour plus monthly and quarterly incentives for that position. After a year, that pay goes up to $16.60. Other positions in Minnesota, including buyer, contract service planning manager, field research technician, accounting clerk, help desk specialist, maintenance and reliability technician, trailer wash, and many more. We offer both traditional agriculture positions as well as many other non-farming careers. So I think Brad and Judy brought it up. We have a lot of positions open in areas like IT, HR, finance, accounting, accounts payable, reception, you name it. We offer a lot of different opportunities here at Christensen Farms, and it does not take a college degree or anything more than high school education to apply and achieve any of those or many of those opportunities. Next slide, please. We are located not just in Minnesota, but we are all across the upper United States. We operate our hog farms in 5 states: Minnesota, Iowa, Illinois, South Dakota, and North Dakota. And our packer plants are in Iowa and in Missouri. And we have our bacon operations in Utah and Montana, as well as a new one in Missouri. Next slide. If you're interested in any of those career opportunities, please go online and apply at www.christensenfarms.com/careers. And Liz, that's all I have. Unless there are any questions, I'm going to turn it back to you.
Great, thank you. Yeah, no questions coming in, although there had been one earlier, and Judy had typed a response to, but do most of the careers require a college degree over experience? And you kind of addressed that, but do you want to say a little bit more about, the background that you're looking for some of these positions?
Yeah, we have hired a whole bunch of people in our animal care positions, and that's our greatest need. We have hired people from a variety of different disciplines. I will say that the majority of our applicants come from either construction work or from people healthcare. And so the reasons why people leave those jobs, generally speaking, are in the healthcare sector. You're working with people, and people who are good at healthcare sometimes get tired of working with people, so they like to work with animals. And so they come and join us, which is great. As it relates to construction, it's seasonal. And with farming, it's year-round. We're doing it every single day, 365 days a year. And so that's where we see most of our application pool come from. But we are all about training people. It's a rewarding job. It's a fulfilling job. But there's a whole host of careers and opportunities within Christensen Farms and agriculture in general. I think Judy said it best. Don't hesitate to think broadly about opportunities. I did not come from agriculture as part of my career background. I came from a retail environment. And so my first job in agriculture is with Christensen Farms. And it's a company and a career choice that has a lot of heart and soul in it. Good people across the industry, good people across every company that I've met associated with agriculture. It doesn't matter what they're doing. They just have their hearts in a really big place. And they're all about just creating food sources and innovation for all of us. And so I would highly recommend agriculture as a career any day of the week.
That is a fantastic testimonial. Thank you. So yes, thank you, Val. I almost said Val Christensen, but Val Johnson of Christensen Farms, and I put the URL in the chat, and please reach out to them if that interests you. Or Val, maybe put your email address in the chat if people could contact you for an informational interview or anything else like that. Thank
I
you.
will do that. Thank you.
Let's move ahead. And Alex Barrick of Barrick Family Farm is with us today too. Alex, take it away.
Yes. Hello, everyone. We are Barrick Family Farm. As Liz said, my name is Alex Barrick, one of the owners of the company. I'm excited to be talking with you all today. Who we are is we're a startup, but we are a high-level pig breeding facility located in northeast Minnesota. This photo you see here is actually of the facility. As you can see, it is almost complete, but we are hiring now. This photo was shot pretty high up in the air about a couple weeks ago, and by the end of the week, this week, that barn you see on the right will have the roof completely on. So it's coming together pretty quick. Based on how high up this is, sometimes it's difficult to imagine this to scale, but to give you an idea of the size, the footprint under roof you see here is about the same size as 4 football fields. The concrete company we are working with, who has also told us that this facility has about 2.5 times more concrete than the Twin Stadium, to give you a little perspective on the size. So we can go to the next slide here. With Barrick Family Farms, there are 3 main partners in this business. The Barrick family are the owners. Protein Sources is the management company, and PIC, or Pig Improvement Company, is on the genetics side. Give you a little background about how this company was formed. The Barrick family are the majority owners of Barrick Family Farm, made up of my father, Gene Barrick, and 3 of my siblings, Justin, Sarah, and Zach. In this photo, on the left, you can see I'm wearing the solid green shirt in the middle there, with a couple of my siblings and my 2 cute nephews on the left. My father, Gene, has been in the pig business for nearly 50 years, so although this is a startup, we are very seasoned. Gene has been connected to the owners of Protein Sources, the Fitzsimmons family, for years through Dr. Mark Fitzsimmons. Gene and Dr. Mark worked together at Gene's previous hog business for 18 years, and he was a top swine veterinarian within the company. Gene's also been connected to PIC as one of their oldest clients in North America, and he's always had the utmost respect for PIC's genetics. A little bit about Protein Sources. They're a big partner in this company as the management team. They manage about 12 to 15 farms around the Midwest, and they manage a number of aspects of our business, from the employees, employee training, human resources, financials, construction management, vendor relations, and more. And PIC is on the leading edge of pig health and genetics on a global level. They have provided the original stock, which are some of the healthiest pigs in the world, making this farm one of the most elite breeding farms in the world. They'll be analyzing our data collected and also distributing the breeding stocks to farms throughout the US and across the world. Next slide, please. So what we do, there is a little video that can play to the right there, but going through the bullet points. So we're trying to set a new standard in swine production. We really are striving to build the next generation of industry-leading swine production through advanced genetics and to set the global standard for quality product delivered with absolute professionalism. That is our mission. We want to be the best, and that can really only be achieved with strong collaboration with the partners and with motivated employees. Hopefully some of you listening in. We'll be supplying top-line genetic breeding stock. As I stated, this farm will be outputting some of the highest level pigs in terms of health and genetics. To give you an idea of the impact this farm will have on the pig industry, it is estimated that within the first 5 years of breeding, about 20% of the world's pig population will have genes that stem from this farm. We are a very high health facility, which ties into the next bullet point here. With this level of healthy pigs comes a very high health conscious facility. If you listeners have been in pig barns before, this may look a little different than you are accustomed to. Biosecurity is an important part of keeping our pigs healthy, and we've taken every necessary step in construction to keep the facility clean. You'll be outfitted with 10 showers to shower in and out, and you'll be provided with sanitized uniforms daily. There will also be a modern kitchen and office space within the barn itself. On data collection, in addition to providing the breeding stock, another key component to this business will be collecting that data, which should be utilized to continuously improve processes and determine areas of improvement opportunities. Next slide, please. Speaking of opportunities, here's kind of what we have available. We have a variety of full-time and part-time positions available. You can find the list at barrickfamilyfarm.com. If you click on the Careers tab, you will find positions in both Ada and Fosston, Minnesota, which is the general area of that gold star you see on the map to the right. To give you an idea of nearby cities, Ada is about roughly 40 miles northeast of Fargo-Moorhead area and about 55 miles southeast of Grand Forks. We're looking for an estimate of between 30 and 40 mix of full-time and part-time employees to work year-round, with the majority at the site near Ada that you were seeing pictures of just shortly ago. These positions range from full-time managers and department leads down through part-time work on the weekends as a second job and everything in between. Next slide, please. So this is my longest slide, and I feel it's important to take a little time going through it because we want to see our employees succeed not only at work, but outside of work as well. We feel that if you're putting in the great work, you deserve to be rewarded for your efforts. So here's some of our benefits that we'll be offering to the full-time employees. Training. As Christensen was saying, you don't need to necessarily have farm experience to be an employee. We will train you on how to properly care for the animals. Our management team has many years of experience, and they'll be the ones providing the hands-on training within the site. Another benefit is a very clean facility and a flexible schedule. You've already heard about why the facility will be clean because of biosecurity, but it's important for the health of the employees and the pigs to maintain a clean farm. As I'm talking with people around the community, some are surprised to know that Protein Sources, our management company, actually has a higher percentage of female employees than male employees within the barn. A big part of that is because of our outstanding health insurance benefits and listed here the flexible work schedule, where most days your work is completed in a work day of 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., which is a great job for families to be done with work and back home with their kids or out of school. As of right now, we are offering a $1,000 hiring bonus to all full-time positions. If you received a bonus at work before, you'll likely remember that it wasn't quite as much money as you thought it would be because the taxes were taken out of it. But the barracks would like this to be a true bonus of $1,000, so we will be paying the taxes for the employees on that bonus. Truth Health Insurance. Now this is a big one. BFF, or Barrick Family Farm, will be paying 90% of those premium costs for individuals, or 50% of the premium costs for your family, if you sign up your family on the health plan. Those of you who pay your own health insurance, you know how many hundreds of dollars this would be in savings monthly. With an HSA match, if you choose to contribute to your health savings account for medical expenses, BFF will match your contribution of up to $1,000 annually. We also offer the retirement matching. If you sign up to contribute a portion of your wages to a simple IRA, we'll match up to 3% of those contributions. Moving on to paid holidays and PTO. We will pay you for a full 8-hour day on federal holidays, and you'll also receive days of paid time off you can utilize for any reason you see fit. Your annual PTO days will increase and accrue the longer you are an employee of BFF. And then for advancement opportunities, I see I'm running low on time here. A farm with this many employees will have opportunities for advancement in ways you can continue to take on more responsibility if that is your goal. Not only with this farm, but being at this high level, it will give you an excellent experience to pursue a long-term career in this industry. You heard me discuss the many farms managed by protein sources throughout the Midwest. If you had advancement opportunities within their system at other farms, you could apply for that management position you've been pursuing, and they would already know your background and proven work ethic. Or maybe you want to further your education in this industry after you've spent time on the farm and would like to pursue a degree in animal science. We've partnered with the University of Minnesota Crookston nearby, who offers these degrees along with many others. Which leads me to my last bullet point. If you want to pursue further education in a relevant field of study, that's not only a benefit to you, but a very big benefit to us. Which is why we would be interested in reimbursing you for a portion of those tuition expenses. My last slide has our contact information. And if you have any questions for us, you can go to this information here or stay up to date on our Facebook page.
Thank you, Alex. So just briefly though, what's a typical day like? I mean, is it a start at 5 a.m.? Is it a 12-hour day? I'm guessing you're pretty active all day, depending on the role that you hire a person for.
Yeah, it depends upon the role that we're hiring for. I mean, we have general care jobs within the barn. We have an office position. There are manager jobs, transport jobs as well. But a typical day within the barn, which are the majority of the positions, will be from about 7 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Okay, thank you. I'm putting Brian Voss's email address in the chat for everyone. And so Brian, is he the HR person for protein sources, or who is he?
Yes, he's the human resources manager for protein sources.
Good. Okay. So folks on the call can contact Brian if they have more questions, want to get, questions answered. This is really impressive, Alex. I mean, just your facility and what you're doing with growing a perfect pig, I guess. But it's pretty amazing. Thank you for being on the call today.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
One more person. This is going to be just a little bit different. Ashley Liverman of Crystal Valley Egg Co-op. Ashley, are you there? You want to just go ahead and tell us what Crystal Valley is all about?
Sure. And I also have Brady Tetzloff with me. Brady is our recruitment specialist, and I oversee our human resources department here at Crystal Valley. So we're going to tag team this for you guys and bring it home.
Good.
I don't really know what much more we can add. All the presenters did a nice job, so we'll try not to repeat ourselves too much, but we'll share a little bit about who we are and what we're looking for. So first, I kind of want to talk a little bit about what is a cooperative for those of you who may not know. And one thing that I love about Crystal Valley and working here is we are owned by our members who do business with us. So what that means is in return, we pay back patronage. So instead of a traditional company that's governed by a board of directors that typically share in the profits, our money goes back to the farmers that choose to do business with us. So one way that we measure our success is if a farmer chooses to do business with us, the more farmers that do business with us, that's how we measure our success as a company. We do have about 260 full-time employees, and we are stretched. I like to explain it of just think of border to border in southern Minnesota. So right, we're headquartered in Mankato, Minnesota, and we stretch over to the Worthington area, down to the border, northern Iowa, the Jackson area, and then over to Owatonna and north to the New Ulm area. So the real thin, skinny line on southern Minnesota we cover. We do have 4 different operating divisions, and I'm going to just explain a little bit about that for those who might not be as familiar about Crystal Valley and the ag industry. So when we talk about agronomy, that would be anything from an input, so like seed, corn, to crop nutrients, crop protection products, and services like custom application, which we are going to showcase a little bit later here in our presentation. On the energy side, sometimes people think of us as wind or electrical. That's not the energy business that we're in. We primarily deal with like gasoline, diesel fuels, lubricants, and propane. On the feed side, similar to some degree to Val and Christensen Farms, we do work with animals, but we're more on the production of feed side. So animal health and nutrition products, we grind, mix, and deliver feed for those farmers to feed their livestock. And on the grain side, we, as you can see in some of the pictures, we have grain elevators. So we do a lot of drying, storage, and then the marketing of the grain for the farmers so that they can get money for their hard work throughout the growing season. So just to reiterate some of the misconceptions, we're going to kind of talk about a little bit today about agriculture and some misconceptions. You know, a lot of people think ag is only in rural small towns, which, as I indicated, we do surround some very large cities and some hub cities. And plenty of those jobs and openings are outside of the rural area or are at least within close proximity to a larger area. A little bit further on Crystal Valley, and Brady's going to talk a little bit up here in a minute about just who we are and what we're looking for, and why Crystal Valley really could be for anybody as long as you possess both character, as demonstrated in our core values that you see on the screen, as well as competence. So our company is really rooted in some deep military roots, I would call it. So we have a lot of the same kind of military and background, structure, process, procedures, and core values. So we look for people who are committed to doing what's right, morally, ethically, and lawfully. We look for individuals who have a solid work ethic. We work in agriculture, so it's one of those areas when it's go time, it's go time, but we also have over the years trying to debunk the myth that agriculture, you have to work around the clock like the farmers do, and really trying to provide a better work-life balance for our employees. Strong sense of ownership. I indicated earlier that our company is, we give back to our customers who do business with us in the form of patronage. We also look for employees who are going to treat the company as if it's their own. Passion for excellence. We want people who want to be better tomorrow than they were today. And as I believe a couple have already indicated, if advancement's up your alley, great. If it's not, we just want people who are going to be really good at what it is that they do and specialize in that area. And we do believe at Crystal Valley, respect goes a long way. So we do expect genuine respect for others, whether it's regulatory agencies, which we work with a lot of them. We work with a lot of like the DOT, fire, police. So the respect aspect is really important to us, as well as we have a lot of competitors in our area, and we do believe in good competitive respect. So that's a little bit about who we are and kind of what we're looking for. One fun fact too, our company is not an entrepreneurial based company, but we do run on what's called EOS, the Entrepreneurial Operating System. And really what that is, it kind of goes back to the military roots I talked about. We like processes, procedures, more structure, setting expectations, and being very clear in what it is that we need to accomplish. So with that being said, I'm going to hand it over to Brady. He's going to talk a little bit about the word cloud that's on your screen right now.
Yeah, and just kind of going back to the misconceptions we talked about right away, one thing that I like to start out with is that you by no means do you have to have an ag background to work in the ag industry. Neither Ashley or I really have much of a solid ag background outside of maybe some family who have farmed before. But so on your screen, there is a word cloud that talks about a lot of skills that we look for when looking for good candidates. And you'll notice that of all the words in there, there's only a couple that are technical skills like mechanically inclined or computer skills. And that's very much because we look for good character and just competency. We're willing to train the right people. And we find that a lot about that through interviewing, through work history, through references. That just kind of comes back to you don't need to have that specific experience to get into a lot of our roles that we have at the company. And kind of right away answering, I saw one of the questions in the chat was about do most jobs require a college degree? And the answer for, I would say 90% of our roles is no. We have a few like sales agronomists or in feed nutrition where we look for that kind of schooling in their background, but it really comes down to, like I said, just good character, solid interview, a good work history, and just the rest is very trainable. That's something that we really pride ourselves in, is our good training programs for pretty much whatever role that we have. Another misconception that I kind of want to talk about too is that a lot of people think that farming is just old fashioned and kind of low tech. Whereas, we have 3 dedicated software developers who build all of our in-house software for all of our teams. We have employees in the precision planting side of things who basically fly drones for their job throughout the day. And agriculture is actually a large hub for the latest technological and scientific advancements like self-driving tractors. I mean, you name it. So really want to hammer home that you don't have to be a farmer. You don't have to come from a farming background in order to work in the ag industry. You really just need to have those skills like multitasking, be able to build relationships, work with teams, just show up to work with a willingness to learn, basically. The next slide, we kind of go into one specific role I wanted to talk about, which is a custom applicator. So a custom applicator, if you just picture somebody who's going to be out in the fields every day in the tractor, in the combine, doing the spraying, doing the planting, everything like that. Something that we look for in that is somebody who's going to have a mechanically inclined background, somebody who likes to work hands-on, somebody who enjoys being outside. It is a individual role, as obviously we only put one person in each piece of machinery, but you're a part of a team of applicators that all work together, all communicate with each other. So that's another very important aspect. And it's also kind of fun for some people because you get to work in a very, very expensive piece of machinery, as you see, very high tech. So a lot of people enjoy that learning process there. But I kind of want to circle back. The reason we're talking about the custom applicator role as well is actually the first custom applicator that I ever hired for Crystal Valley had zero ag background. He had worked in basically construction his whole life. All he had ever really done is run a backhoe. But he had that mechanical aptitude. He had those skills we were looking for, and he interviewed well and seemed extremely eager to learn as much as he could. And he's been doing great for us ever since. So again, just kind of want to talk more about how you don't need to have all that specific experience in order to get into the ag industry. It's just important to have a willingness to learn and willingness to try out new things. So we're a lot more than just operations and delivery. I mean, we have openings we have communications, graphic design, software development, as I spoke about a little bit before, procurement, accounting, marketing, human resources, IT. I mean, we can go on and on. It's not just mill operators and custom applicators. We have plenty of openings all across the board. So it's not as difficult to break into the ag industry as you might think. So.
Next slide for us. Thank you. As we kind of wrap up here, we did showcase a few openings that we currently have, and I'd like to talk about some pivot or transferable skills to get into these open positions. So custom application, we talked about that already. The reason we wanted to showcase that is we hear from most people, oh, I could never do that job, or they don't know what a custom applicator is because it's such a niche or a unique term to our industry. And so Brady did a nice job of explaining most of our custom applicators that we're hiring did not have any prior experience and are doing really well. It's an opportunity for you to make anywhere between $65,000 and $100,000 a year. It just depends on various factors. On the sales agronomist side, that was one area Brady had mentioned. Yes, we do look for somebody who's gone to school for this, but the reason I like to mention this is we have a lot of career changers reach out to us that say, I never went to school. I want to go back to school. you know, here's some things I want to do. What could a career look like upon graduation? And so if any of you find yourself in that situation where you are wanting to go back to school, the sales agronomist is a very lucrative career, and there are not enough people for the number of openings that there are. And we had listed a few other openings that we currently have that somebody could walk off the street today and be fully qualified for with just some very basic skills. So in the administrative side, as well as on the transportation side with some driving history, or even just a willingness to get into the transportation side of our business. Logistics, I think, is a really cool area. Somebody who's very detail oriented, structured, really good at planning and prioritizing would really thrive in logistics. You don't have to necessarily have an ag background for that. And again, operations, some people come to us and just say, I want to work outside. I've been working in a factory, or I've been working on a line. I don't want to sit in an office. I can't sit still. I'm antsy. I like to just work with my hands. I want to do a variety of things. And we usually push them towards operations because it's such a great variety, and you can dabble in a little bit of everything. And it seems like you just never get bored because there's always something different going on. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time talking about specific comp for these positions, but I will say one thing that most people say to us during the interview process is, oh, I just didn't think that I wouldn't be able to make enough money in farming, or I don't think I'd be able to make enough money in that job. I mean, farming and agriculture industry is just as competitive as other industries. So I just wanted to at least mention it's worth looking into, because most people think that it's, you know, low pay and a ton of hours. And just like every other business, we've had to adapt our ways as well. And that's not the case. A lot of the stories that people hear about farming, you know, are pretty old school, or the old way of doing business, whereas we have adapted. The agriculture industry is a very responsive, adaptive industry, so weather dependent. We provide training and development. I believe we've talked about that. Benefits, I just put a few on there that I'm pretty proud of, that I think are cool, amongst a whole entire page of additional benefits. Happy to share that with candidates who find benefits of interest think that they're valuable. That information's on our website. You can look at it at any time. And just know that we've had people in the nursing industry reach out to us and come work here, all the way to the car automotive business, to hospitality, to sales of completely different than what we're selling. And we've been able to, for the right person, find a home in various different spots. So I believe that is all of our time today. Appreciate you guys logging on and hearing what we have to say. Again, located in southern Minnesota, from the one border to the other.
Thank you. You know, we had one job seekers type in, who would we contact for informational interview? I'm assuming the person means for your company. So
Yep.
I'm going to put Ashley's email address in the
I'm
chat.
putting Brady's stuff in right now.
Brady, okay. Why don't you put Brady's then? Why don't you type in his email address too, so we have the, you know, that information. There you go. Great. Thank you. You know, this is really helpful. And all of the presenters on the call today, you know, you really paint a bigger picture of all of the job opportunities, and also a lot of the innovation that's taking place in the world, in the industry. It's not just, you know, some of our minds are kind of stuck 30 years ago or 40 years ago. So this has really been a good conversation. Thank you to all of you. You know, I always check minnesotaworks.net before this presentation, and while I'm creating the slides, I looked for some of the companies, and you know, some of the companies that are really present, the larger companies too. And there are things called, you know, companies called Agribank, Ag Partners, Bayer, Cargill CHS, Hormel Food Sales, Land O'Lakes, Nutrien Egg Solutions, Stantec VAA, Wilbur Ellis. There's a whole long list of companies. And then there is also a separate job board called agcareers.com. I'm not associated with it. It's another agency, but at least it's also focused on the agricultural world. So you might just take a glance to see if that fits your needs for those of you on the call. The other kind of keyword search that I did on Minnesota Works was I typed in agronomy or agriculture in combination with another job title. So I typed in agronomy project management or agricultural sales or, you know, some of those different combinations. And some of the job descriptions that I got were, I mean, they were really all over the place and they were all for different agricultural worlds. So credit analyst, sales agronomist, regional sales manager, agronomy technician, account manager bilingual, human resources generalist, agronomy business planning, field products specialist, etc. Buyer. These were all for companies that I had just previously mentioned. And, you know, I really like that slide that Judy had at the beginning, that Hennepin County has the highest number of jobs openings, you know, the positions within the agricultural industry. So I really encourage all of you to consider what's, you know, what are you bringing from your background? And no matter where you're living, what are some of the tangent jobs that might be applicable in that industry? So thank you all for being here. Next week, Tuesday, July 6th, we're taking the week off. All of the Career Force offices will be closed on Monday, July 5th. So the next Explore Careers will be on Tuesday, July 13th. And we're going to be looking at the property management industry. So lots of opportunities within maintenance and property and leasing agents and sales all over the state. You know, over the weekend, you can always watch all of the Explore Careers videos on the YouTube channel. Go to Career Force MN, and then under that, look for the Explore Careers playlist. We've had a series or webinar every single week since January. So if you haven't attended all of them, you've got a lot of catching up to do. Look for a job fair or a hiring event on our job fair calendar. There's quite a few taking place. And if you know of a company that is having one, let's get them to post their information on it so we have all of the list. So let us help you. Go to careerforcemn.com/locations. Contact your local Career Force office to get help with reviewing your resume or doing a keyword search or anything else in your job. So I'm so glad to have all of you on the call, and email me if you ever have any questions. liz.jennings@state.mn.us. Thanks again to the Minnesota State Centers for Agricultural Excellence, Christensen Farms, Barrick Family Farm, and Crystal Valley Egg Co-op. See you in a couple of weeks. Have a happy Independence Day. Thanks. Bye-bye.